Good morning, gardeners. So I'm out here on a chilly fall morning. We've had a couple of frosts here in Tulsa. You can see everything is kind of dead and dying back. And I'm going to talk to you today about how to harvest and cure and store your sweet potatoes. So hopefully you grew some sweet potatoes this year. We've had ours in the ground since early spring. They're fun to grow and they're really fun to harvest. So I will admit I've been a lazy gardener this year. So you can see again, we've had frost. Our foliage for sweet potatoes is dead. But I've also not filled up my grow bags completely. Love growing potatoes in bags because normally what I would have done is been filled in more soil on the top and then rolled up the sides to their full height. So you can see here how tall these could actually be. When you do that, you tend to get more potatoes, but that's okay. This year we'll settle for a good crop of potatoes that probably got larger because the vines were just working on a few potatoes. So a couple tips for actually harvesting. Sweet potatoes are going to grow underground with your root system. So if you follow to where the stems are at the very base of the plant, that's where you're going to find your potatoes. Now, I did bring a trowel out. These can be helpful, but the more you can just work with your hands, the more gentle you can be with these, the better, because you don't want to pierce or tear the skin while you're harvesting. One of the other reasons I like growing them in grow bags is because it makes it really easy to be flexible, to kind of move things around, to really dig down and get in there to harvest. Now, I have noticed, if you look at some of the ones that were on the surface, this looks like a nice potato, but some critters have kind of nibbled on it. So for some of these, I might heat them up and feed them to our chickens. If there's just a tiny nibble, then you can just cut it off when you cook it, and that's not a big deal. But essentially what we're gonna do, I'm gonna dig down with my hands, find the base of my plants, and look at that. Pull up my beautiful sweet potatoes. So I'm really excited. You can see how the root system goes here. We have a couple of potatoes hanging off of there. Some of them are going to be little. That's fine too. They eat just as well. So with that, I'm going to gently dig up some of my potatoes. Now, so you can see I'm just going in the surface with my hands. Once I get towards the bottom, once I get most of them up, I'll take my trowel and just kind of press it into the bottom and then gently lift soil doing that, scooping towards the center, so that way I can hopefully get around the outside of any of the potatoes that are in there. So now we are gonna do our harvest of all of our grow bags of potatoes. All right guys, so we got a huge harvest this year for the size of the bags. Look at this, we have these and then another almost whole basket's worth after I emptied these out. And this is just, it was hard to tell from the video, I'm sure. This is from 4 20-gallon grow bags that weren't even full of soil. 4 bags and you get all of these potatoes, and look at the size of some of these beautiful potatoes. These are amazing. So now we're going to take these guys, they're going to go inside. We're going to put them in cardboard boxes, and a couple of them. It's important when you're storing them indoors to cure that they have something that's permeable so you get good airflow, otherwise it can lead to rot. Don't wash them first. You don't want to risk cutting through the skin. That can lead to them rotting, so you want to be sure that you leave them intact. Keep them either in cardboard box, some people wrap them in newspaper. You can put them in a basket. Put them somewhere that's really warm and higher humidity. That's what they're gonna like to cure for about 10 days at least. Usually if you leave them for a few weeks, they're gonna develop more flavor. What the curing is gonna allow them to do is to kind of harden the skin. It'll protect your potato. It's also going to allow some of the starches to form sugars, so you're going to have a much tastier sweet potato when you eat it. So keep them cured for a few weeks. It's going to work wonders for the quality, and then it's also going to allow them to last a heck of a lot longer. We got this huge basket. We'll be eating off of these for a couple months, which is really, really exciting. So after your potatoes are cured, then you're going to store them somewhere cooler. Think old school cellar, something that would be cool, out of the sun, that's going to have good airflow, still not be too dry. We usually cure ours next to a heat vent that's in our mudroom because it stays warm in there. And then we move them onto one of the shelves in our mudroom, which also serves as a pantry, where they will be out of the sun and kept in good circulation. Let the curing process happen. Make sure they're stored properly, and then you can enjoy this harvest of sweet potatoes for the rest of the season, for months really. We've done more than this and they last us through the whole winter, so we are literally eating from our backyard urban garden all year long. So sweet potatoes are great. If you haven't grown sweet potatoes before and you want to for next season, check out our video. We have another one on growing sweet potatoes in general. Otherwise, enjoy your sweet potatoes. Happy harvesting.